Stephen Pressley is still with us to talk about Scotland. Now, Stephen, we've been talking about the England-Scotland game a lot today. So I thought we'd take you a little trip down memory lane. Now, of course, this fixture means a lot to you, but we just wanted you to remember the game Euro '96. How big was that game in terms for the players and for the fans, and this fixture? How big is it? And talk to me about the Euro '96 fixture.
Well, it's a massive game, you know, the history, the rivalry, all the tradition. So, you know, it's a pivotal game for ourselves. It's not just about the 3 points, it's about the bragging rights. And for many of the players involved in Friday night's game, it'll be having those bragging rights when they return from pre-season, you know, and being able to face your teammates and get that chest out and you know, enjoy. So it's going to be a really interesting game. Looking back at that particular game, the Euros, you know, we all remember the Gary McAllister penalty, you know, which was a really defining moment within that game. We started well, we went a goal down, and then obviously Gary missed the penalty, of which Uri Guela took the credit for moving the ball from the helicopter, you know.
Can a moment like that define the result? Obviously it defines that moment, but can that completely change the game, and could have been a completely different result by the end in terms of Scotland getting a win, England dropping their heads?
Yeah, of course, and to be honest, it changed the kind of image of Gary McAllister, because he was a terrific servant to Scotland, you know, and he was the captain of Scotland, a really fabulous player. And on the back of that, he received some, you know, disappointing treatment from the Tartan Army, you know, and that shows you the impact that this sort of game has on that. But you know, it was a big day, a big moment in the game, and of course, it was followed up by the exceptional Gaza goal, where I think he flicked the ball over Colin Henry's head and scored past his teammate at the time, Andy Gorham.
Let's talk about that goal. What do you remember at that moment? When you saw that, what were you thinking? Because it was exceptional. For England fans, it was probably the greatest goal we've seen. What was you thinking?
Well, I was thinking at the time, if there's one player capable of doing that within the England team, it was certainly Paul Gascoigne. He was off the back of a really good season at Rangers, and of course he was facing his teammate in Andy Gorham. And I think at the time I was holidaying with my friends, so it was really a devastating time. But you know, in these sort of tournaments, you need your big players to step up, and he certainly did that.
Gaza, what a player, what a player. Now, there's Scotland returned to Wembley in 1999, needing a 2-0 win in a qualifier. They didn't quite get that, but they did win the game. Will that give this Scotland team the confidence going into Friday's game that they could get a win?
Without doubt, you know, if I remember rightly, we played again really well at Wembley that day. You know, I think a Neil McCann cross was headed home by Don Hutchison. Yeah. And, you know, we're unfortunate. I think Christian Daly had a really big moment towards the end of the game where we could have tied it. But it wasn't to be. But we should take great hope. You know, and as I've said to you before, we've got so many of our players now playing at the top level, and I can't remember a period like this apart from going back to the Souness Dalglish period. So we should go there with no inferiority complex, real belief that we can get a result, and I genuinely think we can.
Yeah, moving on to the most recent fixture, 4 years ago, 2-2, two great free kicks from Griffiths. Yeah, there he is there, two great free kicks that day. What was that like for the Scotland fans to get that 2-2 draw? Does a 2-2 draw with England for Scotland fans feel like a win almost, feel like a positive, or do you always expect to beat England?
We always go into that game believing we can win, but there was such a contrast of emotions that day. Yeah. I was at Hampden that day when Lee scored the second goal, and he scored it late on, and we were still celebrating, thinking that was the winning goal, and England went up the other end, and Harry Kane scored the equaliser in the last minute. So it really was, as I said, a contrast in emotions, but again a good performance from us, and we should take great deal of confidence from those, because I think we're a much better team now than we were then.
You do have some superstars. Who's the player that's going to do it for you? Quick, tell us before we have to go.
Well, I hope it's McGinn. You know, I think McGinn could have a major impact. He's been a big influential player for Scotland over the last couple of years.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen. It's been amazing having you on today, aka Elvis. I can't believe I didn't know why they called you Elvis Pressley. But Stephen Pressley, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure, Mark.
It's been incredible. And good luck to Scotland and England on Friday, of course. Thank you so much.